everyone, welcome to the Paint Log. My name's Keith, and we're going to talk about the miniatures that I painted this week. I want to start off by thanking everyone who subscribed over the past week. We actually hit double digits, so we're at 11 subscribers now, which is awesome, and I never thought that 11 people would actively tune in. So awesome, thank you guys so much for the support. I want to apologize if I sounded any different. It's pollen season where I'm from, and it's hitting me pretty hard. So if I sound a little off, that's why. But that should clear up in a week or two. I want to tease a couple things potentially coming in the future. One being, I have a friend that is letting me borrow their airbrush. I've never used an airbrush before, so I'm gonna try it out and see if I like it, and then probably, if I do, buy my own. So look forward to some experiment videos with the airbrush and seeing if I can get the smoothest of blends. Another thing that I want to tease is I issued a little challenge to myself. I rolled a couple of dice and picked a model, and this is the model I picked. But I rolled the dice to determine the paint scheme for this little knight guy. I couldn't quite figure it out myself. And we came up painting him Mayhem Red. Focus. Yeah. With an accent of peanut butter, which should be interesting. We'll see. So look forward to that potentially next week. Without further ado, enough of me rambling yet again. Let's get into some miniatures with actually not miniatures that I painted this week. We'll start off with some of the first miniatures that I ever painted. So this is our band of merry adventurers. We have a gnome sorcerer, a elf druid, if I remember correctly, and a Goliath barbarian. These are my players' characters in the first ever D&D session that we ran. You can definitely tell that they're some of my first models. The paint is very thick and clogs a lot of the details. The wash that I threw on as the final step, no highlights or no trying to bring back the color, darkened a lot of the base color. And then overall, it was one of the old washes, I believe, from GW that just has this shiny, glossy appearance that in future models I would try and get rid of to help emphasize the color. The Barbarian at the final pictures is the first model that I was truly proud of when I finished. He has his own special spot in my room where I look at him sometimes just to get encouragement. Painted models, it's hard to see the improvement in between each model, but sometimes going back to what you've painted in the past, you can definitely see like, oh my goodness, I've come so far. And I hope that comes across in my work today, but also just as a words of encouragement that if you put a little time into something, you can definitely see some improvement. We move on to the first miniature that I painted this week, this Enchanted gargoyle from Wildspire's Enchanted Objects miniature line. If you've been following along, you'll know that I've been painted through this set, so this guy was super easy to paint up. We did a dark gray base coat, did a wash with gnome oil, and then threw a heavy light dry brushing of light gray on top. Added the blood stain just for a little bit of visual appearance interest, and now I have a cool gargoyle miniature that I can use in my D&D games. Next up is a Fomorian from WizKids Nolzur's Marvelous Miniature line. Try saying that 3 times fast. I received this as a gift from a friend when we went to go pick up those miniatures that I painted, or I showed you previously as my first painted miniatures ever. He really was captivated by this model and then gave it to me as a gift. I subsequently put it on a shelf for a year and a half. I'm a great friend. But one day I picked him up and I started working on the skin, and I did the contrast with the skin was my first real attempt at contrast. I'm really happy where it came out, but then I kind of petered out when it came to the leg braces, left those gray, and put them on the shelf for another year until about now. So we finally finished it. Thank you, Noah, for giving me this as a gift, and he's finally done and can sit on the shelf. Before we move on to the project that I'm most proud of this week, I wanted to talk a little bit about the scale of the things that I'm painting. Now, I say miniatures, but if you've never looked at something like this, you might have a hard time recognizing how big it is. So here you can see the Fomorian that we just talked about against everything else I painted this week. So they come in different sizes, and it's cool and interesting. So to paint, you can have an action figure size thing, or you can have something that fits on a quarter. And speaking of the project that I'm the most proud of this week, we have these 3 Gretchens or Grots. I'm not familiar exactly with the term, but I got them from the Runtherd and Gretchen's miniature box that Games Workshop sells. Super cheap box. It was $25. You might be able to find it cheaper online. You get 10 of these awesome goblinoids, and then 1 orc, like herdsmen, because these little fellas don't look like they can be trusted with anything. I wanted to go with like a hillbilly scheme, so I gave them some denim jeans, or what I thought would look like denim jeans. The one has a denim hat. You know, you can never go too much with the denim, and then they have some colors to keep them together, like they look like a little gaggle of goblins that would hang out. I'm very, very proud of the weathered, rusty look that I got to their gun. Lead belcher, so dark silver paint, metallic shiny paint as the base coat. Slapped it with some Agrax Earthshade to get that darker, grungier brown in the recesses, and then used some of Gryph-hound Orange for the contrast paint, and then just poked it on there to get some rust spots. I think it came off really, really cool. The one thing that I'm not so happy about is their backs. I definitely did not get the muscle contours right for them, but it still doesn't look terrible. It just looks slightly off. Just a note that you can always improve. And with that, that's all the minis I've painted this week. I want to thank everyone who's tuned in for these 4 episodes. We've officially hit a month, right? Like, I guess it kind of equates to a month, and I'm super proud of it. It kind of feels surreal that I'm doing it, but I enjoy it, and it's keeping me accountable. So thank you all for watching, for helping me stay accountable. It looks like I might be able to do this in one take again. So if you've stuck around for this long, remember to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. So, bye!